All right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and that was live footage from inside the Fed's FOMC meeting yesterday. As I'm sure will be no surprise to you, the Fed hiked by 25 basis points yesterday. So that was all but priced in, wasn't it? Not really a surprise. The market had kind of figured out that was going to be the deal. The Fed's still trying to act tough. It's still trying to act very hawkish and use very hawkish language. As always with FOMC, if you want to have a bias towards being bullish or dovish, then you could do that. You could pick out some of the language he used and say, well, he was setting up the pause next month. He was setting up the pause that he's done hiking rates. But similarly, if you wanted to have a bearish bias towards this, then it was easy to pick out a bunch of hawkish language and say, oh, that's it. He's going to keep hiking higher for longer. And, at the end of the day, whatever. Okay, let's just trade the charts because you can't trust what this man says. No one cares what this man says, do they? The charts are ultimately the truth. And frankly, in my opinion, as a technical trader that only trades off of charts, I don't think much changed yesterday. So I'll get to that in just a second. I do agree with this point here. The bears should be out of their minds scared. Nothing that we've seen so far has actually broken the stock market. And this is exactly how irrational exuberance happens. And that's how bubbles happen. So, melt up? Is this melt up thing quite possible? Is it still insane to be backing the melt up? Think about all those bearish narratives we've seen. There's too many for me to even bother to list. There's so many bearish reasons. There's so many reasons to be bearish. And yet the markets are not even 15% off their all-time highs. The FTSE 100, something like 6% off of its prior all-time high, actually broke a new high late last year. So everything's lining up for a major bullish move. FOMC did indeed deliver 0.25% hike, largely just to show that they're not nervous. Had they have gone to a pause, that would have likely signaled to the market that they were more concerned about the banking collapses than they would like people to understand they are. And markets being forward-looking, they will likely understand that that was probably the final one hike. There's probably no more hikes left now. So we probably are going to see a pause at the next meeting. The economy remains not in a recession, and this current round of QE and balance sheet expansion that identifies as not QE or balance sheet expansion is running in full force. Risk assets will explode higher because they always follow the liquidity. Liquidity always finds its way into risk assets. The foreign exchange market knows what's coming. They know the printer is on, even if, as I said, it doesn't identify as a printer. The Fed balance sheet is expanding, as I've been showing you for the past 6 or 7 days now. And the weakest currency on the board at the moment is the USD. Understand that in orange. Hopping into a few charts, you can see here the dollar has indeed broken down. So breakdown, retest, very brief retest, followed by resumption lower. So look at this. This is the line I've been talking about for such a long time. I said once we lose this line, it's game over for the dollar and we'll be heading down to 90 something. It's very likely looking at this that we've already seen that breakdown now. Confirmation will be a sweep of this local low here. But if we can get below this local low, then that opens up the mid to low 90s in very quick succession afterwards. This is exactly what I wanted to see to fuel the melt up. The most aggressive parts of the bull markets and the blow-off tops occur in the final stages of the dollar breakdown. So looking at the US equity markets, extremely technical at the moment, aren't they? We had a perfect touch of this downward sloping purple resistance line, so still no long from me. I have been identifying on this channel for a while that we'll likely see some kind of move down here into a cycle low before we can go, or invalidation of that will come from a breakout of this downward sloping purple resistance line. So neither one of those conditions have been met yet, but I think we're getting close. I think we're getting close to seeing a breakout and potentially even a recovery of this upward sloping red support line here. The Nasdaq has made an attempt at taking out this high. It wicked it and now it's pulled back. So whether we have to come down a bit in the short term before having a second crack at this or not, I do still believe this is going to resolve to the upside because essentially yesterday was a nothing burger. I was listening to the FOMC speech and I was actually thinking and laughing to myself during it that those sentences have been recycled for the last 4 or 5 meetings. I think he just chops and changes the order of those sentences, but he didn't say anything that we hadn't heard before. In fact, they're so consistent that I was finding myself able to finish some of his sentences for him. Here's the Dow. As you can see, again, trading incredibly technically. A touch off of here, a rejection down towards here. So are we going to continue to chop around before making a decision? Whether that is up or down remains to be seen. My bias is currently to the upside because I think the market is going to front run this pause. Here's the Russell, again, not really doing anything, is it? Still in no man's land, so get a breakout of this downward sloping blue resistance line and you'll see me add along, but we're not really doing anything in the meantime. Here's where the tells start getting amazing. So you've seen the dollar that I've shown you already as well, coming off. Let's look at the VIX. Let me grab this tool and move this out of the way. Does this speak to a stock market crash to you? It just doesn't, does it? This was a clear breakout, retest, resumption, on the way up to a touch of this blue upward sloping resistance line, which it got rejected multiple times, and now it's all the way back down here. So it does not speak to a 2008 style fractal at this moment in time. It can change, and it can change quickly, but it hasn't changed yet. We also have Apple coming in for a perfect back test, as you can see. So my patience here is going to be rewarded, it seems. I didn't want to get in, I didn't want to chase this, I'm still not in, but if we can do something like this, breakout, retest, and resumption, that will be a long for me for Apple. So a very, very nice entry here for the New York Open today. Tesla, again, as I've been saying, still hanging around inside this box, but you notice none of these things are actually getting wrecked, are they? None of these things are actually getting destroyed at this moment in time. And Bitcoin continues to do Bitcoin things. So I was talking all week about, I wouldn't exclude the idea of a throwback to this yellow range breakout area before moving higher. But again, really, what is this? This is nothing. This is just consolidation before what is likely a move to the upside. And speaking of Bitcoin, Hong Kong has allocated 50 million to expedite Bitcoin and crypto hub development. And not only that, Hong Kong is allowing a Bitcoin ETF for retail investors. So this is continued adoption, and we continue to see continued adoption. Over in Texas, their senator has introduced a bill to ban the Fed from adopting a central bank digital currency. So are we going to see this final battle of freedom versus the tyranny that is the CBDC? And similarly in Florida, the government has said that the Biden administration creation of a CBDC is about one thing only, and that is control. And indeed, this is true. Control, tyranny, domination of the public. Bitcoin is indeed freedom. Over in El Salvador, the pioneer of adopting the Bitcoin standard and making Bitcoin legal tender, Bitcoin volcano bonds will be launched between June and September this year. These are going to be massively oversubscribed, in my opinion. These are bonds that earn yield based off of mining Bitcoin that is powered by the geothermal energy of the active volcanoes. Man, what a time to be alive. Understand this, the momentum for Bitcoin is real. Look at this, I showed this chart a couple of dots ago, and I said we were above the realized price, we were hunting down that 200-week moving average in black, and now look at us. Understand this is momentum, this is what bottoms are made of. And like clockwork, Bitcoin is now coming for that 2-year realized price, which sits at $31,000. This is the dark blue line here. The light blue line being the short-term holder cost basis and the black line being the realized cost price. Again, this is the stuff bottoms are made of. Remember this tweet from Balaji, the bit signal, where he's talking about Bitcoin going straight to $1 million in what is now under 88 days or something, 85 days time? A lot of people, I think, have been underestimating this. But understand this, it's already happened with the Lebanese pound. Here it is. This is the same chart. If I click back here, you can see first all-time high, second all-time high, the most recent one, and then straight to $1 million, right? And here's the Lebanese pound, first all-time high, second all-time high, the most recent one, and then straight up after their currency collapsed. So this could absolutely be on the table. Do I think it's highly likely? No. But if you're in complete doubt of what Balaji is proposing here, then I urge you to go to his Twitter profile. I urge you to check out all of the references and sources and tables, because there's a lot more merit to what he's saying than people are giving him credit for. He's a lot smarter than most people are giving him credit for. It is completely unusual of him to be hyperbolic or a moon boy. He's certainly not like that. He's a very calm and calculated individual. This is only the second time he's ever raised an alarm bell, and the first one was before the C19 broke out. Please don't make the mistake of thinking you're smarter than this guy. And just carrying on with this theme, okay, this person here says, I can't believe this is a real Economist headline. America's banks are missing hundreds of billions of dollars. Here it is, okay, this is a genuine Economist headline. America's banks are missing hundreds of billions of dollars. How the Federal Reserve drained the financial system of deposits. And then this is what he was been saying. The money is gone. So they're printing the money. They're printing the money to replace the deposits that do not exist. This means the purchasing power will be gone unless you get into hard money. So again, don't let this happen with you having minimal or nominal exposure to Bitcoin. So I got a bit carried away doing the charts. You've already seen most of them. Let's just have a quick refresher of Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin, okay? Be bearish all you want, but this is clearly a range breakout. This is clearly targeting higher numbers into that next daily cycle low. Ethereum, still doing Ethereum things. I hate this coin so much. But XRP, how funny is this, right? Nice breakout. Retest the entire thing. So you got two opportunities to get in here. You could use your buy stop or you could buy the retest. And now looking for that resumption. So can we get it? Can we resume off? Or is this going to be just like we failed here? Are we going to get stopped out again? I will continue to repeat this process until XRP eventually puts in some massive pump. So I'm prepared to get stopped out 10, 11 times in a row with XRP because I know that when it finally goes, it's going to go into overdrive. So anyway, long and strong XRP continue to push. Just for a bit of fun here, here's the fractal, okay? The fractal that everyone thought was ridiculous. You can see we definitely deviated away from it, but we're right on pace for it now again, aren't we? Look, we're right on pace for this. So a little bit more consolidation before an attack to 45k. I know that'll make some of the bears quite miserable that I say that. I know they'll be quite angry. I know that there's plenty of people that were in this neighborhood calling for 10, 12, 14k, and now they're sat here, we're looking at almost 30k Bitcoin. But again, this is the importance of just trading the chart in front of you. Don't get married to narratives. Don't worry about what everyone thinks or what's in the news. Been a while since we looked at the Wyckoff accumulation, but undeniably following a textbook Wyckoff accumulation here, isn't it? So that's nice to see. I think all that's left for me to cover is the crypto-related equities. I was thinking about this the other day. I thought, let's just draw a box here, right? Something like this. And if we can get a breakout above that, then I think we can add a position. I think if we can get a breakout, retest, and resumption off of here, then we can add a position and move the stop from the initial position up to here, something like that. So I'll be looking to see if we can get that from Coinbase. MicroStrategy, bit of a pullback yesterday, understandably so, but I'm pretty sure this will turn out to be a little stop hunt thing, a little shakeout before we can resume higher. So long and strong continue to push. I'll let the stop do the worrying on this one. Here's Riot. Riot was making some gains, but it's given some of those back now. But again, not really concerning, all the while we continue to remain above this high and this high back here. So long and strong continue to push Riot, and the same is true of Marathon, of course. Long and strong continue to push. Finally, before I love you and leave you with a meme, it looks like gold, to me, is struggling to go higher from here. So I wonder if this yellow situation will play out. I wonder if that's just hopium on my part because I missed this move. Did really well at capturing all of this move and all of this move, but completely missed this current pump. So maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm not. To be honest, I do think this is going to play out, and if it doesn't, then we'll just get up here and buy either a dip or a consolidation range breakout. But to me, this, at least for now, somewhat speaks to rolling over. I think the same is true of silver as well, and I'm seeing a lot of people flexing about now being the time to buy gold. Again, similar vibes to how we got in here. Everyone was calling for 3k gold and telling people they were buying silver, and then of course the next thing that happened was we plunged. So it's starting to feel a little bit like that. We'll see how it goes for now. Miners not really leading to this point, they're more following, and the silver miners showing quite a large divergence. So I wonder if that speaks to an imminent pullback, an imminent shakeout in the gold market. We'll find out. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you want to continue to see how I deal with these markets in real time as a pro swing trader. So I wonder if there'll be a bit more volatility, a bit more chop today, a bit more stop hunting, and then ultimately I think it will come down to how the Friday's closes look. In the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.
Hey, just chilling.
Trying to think of some ways to make some money.
Shit. Talking about money, Pops. Remember, you got $20 for me.
20. I don't have the whole 20, but here's 10. I owe you 10 more.
Okay.
Before you put that in your pocket, Patrick, you know you owe me 20 from last night.
All right. I don't got the whole 20, but here it's 10. I'll give you the next 10 later.
Yeah, don't let that get good to you because you owe me 20.
I don't have the whole thing, but here's 10 for now.
There's 10 on the 20 that you owed me. Patrick, I owed you 10. There it is.
Casey, here's the 10 I owe you.
And here's the 10 I owe you. So now I'm even. We're all even.
Everybody paid in full.
Everybody paid in full.